Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope each and every one of you is doing fine. I hope the week was good as well. For today, I'm going to be sharing a story time, and yeah, let's get into the video. So for this week, I'm going to be telling a story time, or I'm going to be giving a story time on how I came to Cyprus. Yeah, that was such a memorable and it was such an experience, guys. And I just thought to share my story. So yeah, here it goes. When I finished senior year, I graduated in July and schools were to open in September. So I was already working on my admission. And before I graduated high school, I always said to myself that there was this particular school in Nigeria I really wanted to go. It's called American University of Nigeria, AUN. It's located in where I'm from actually. I can't really remember why. I knew it was like an elite school. That was back in the day. I don't know about now, but it was an elite school back in the day. It was where I came from. That's my state of origin. And then it was owned by a former vice president of Nigeria. So like, I don't know, maybe I guess this as part of the reasons, or these are some of the reasons I really wanted to go to the school. I really loved the school. I was hearing stories about it and I really wanted to go to that school. So upon graduating, I knew getting into the school wouldn't be a problem. I knew my dad would be able to help in that aspect. So once it was time for me to select where I wanted to go study, I told my parents I really wanted to study here, and they were like, okay. My dad was even like, oh, it's nice because like I said, he can work it out for me and I get to go there. And I started processing my admission before WAEC results came out. WAEC is an examination we write in Nigeria. Your last year of high school, you use it most times, or you always use it to gain admission into the university. So yeah, normally you have to wait before some schools, or most schools actually, you have to wait for that WAEC result to be out before you can start processing your admission. And then for this school, they needed my JAM. JAM is an exam we also write. It's somewhat different from the WAEC, but we write that exam because some universities actually require that instead of the WAEC, and this was one of the schools. So I was told to get my JAM result. So they had started processing it already, and if I can remember, from what I can remember, I think I didn't really have to do anything. So I wasn't getting any feedback or whatever the situation. I wasn't getting reports, or like I said, feedback on what was going on. So everything just like was quiet, and I took it that my dad is working on it. And then from nowhere, I think it was my mom. Mind you, my elder brother was in Cyprus. He has been in Cyprus for years as of this time. So from nowhere, or let me not say from nowhere, maybe because of my elder brother, my mom made mention of Cyprus. And I was like, Cyprus? I didn't have any feeling or opinion towards Cyprus, but I was just like, I really like, if you had asked me years ago, my dream was to school in that university. But when they said Cyprus, I was just like, Cyprus? I didn't have any opinion about it, but my mind was on that school I told you guys about. And then my mom did, she spoke and spoke, she convinced me. I was like, okay, no problem, I'll go to Cyprus. And I was looking to gain admission to study pharmacy or medicine. I didn't really know what I wanted to be growing up actually. I just knew I didn't belong to science class. Now let me take you guys back to my junior school for this story to make sense. In my junior school, normally when you're going to SS1, that is senior year, the school determines who goes to science class. They print out a list of students that are going to science class and arts class. And growing up, I always wanted to study art. The first thing I wanted to be in future was a bank manager. And my mom was like, oh, bank managers don't have time for family, blah, 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 blah. Gradually, it became I really wanted to be a teacher. From there, or I think it was from a teacher to a bank manager, one of the above. So I always like gravitated towards art class. So coming to the end of my junior school, it was already a short thing. In fact, as of then in school, they will always ask us, what do you want to be in future? And I'll always say bank manager. And few of my teachers would laugh and tell me that I know I'm going to science class. And it was like a known fact that I was going to go to science class if I had remained in that school. I could do science class, but that was not what I really wanted to do. So upon hearing this statement from lecturers, and my mom had already been complaining about that at my school, I was like, okay, I'm going to change school. Because I kid you not, guys, those who went to secondary school with me, if you can, feel free. If you were in that school, it was against your will. Whatever list they print, you are assigned to go to science or art, and all fingers were pointing that I was going to go to science. So I changed the school and I went to a new school. And then on the first day of resumption, when it was time to like, because in that school, you pay for your notebooks and your textbooks, they give you upon arrival, even before you leave to the hostel. And they asked me the question, science or arts? And my mom was like, science. And it was in front of the headmistress. I was partially not the head, I was she the headmistress, I can't really remember, but the wife of the owner of our school was there. A few people were there as well, and I think maybe a different student and a parent were there because they were attending. I don't really remember, but I know that there were a number of people there. And it was just, I don't know what happened, but it was like, I just went silence and I was like, okay. So the moment my mom was like, science class, I said, okay, and they gave me the textbooks, guys. I just knew I couldn't do it, but that wasn't what I wanted. I struggled so much in science class. In fact, I struggled so much that from the previous school I was coming from, I was always first, not even top 3. I was always first. And then moving on to this school, and I became 44 out of, I don't even remember how many numbers, 44 guys. And I kept telling my mom, I don't want to study science. I don't want to study science. And my mom kept saying, oh, I was lazy, I didn't want to read, or I didn't want to study hard, that was why, blah, 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 blah. So when it dawned on me that my mom was not letting go, she would not, because it was possible for me to change back to art after that first time, after that first term. But I could sense that my mom was done on this matter. So I just had to tighten up and I went through the science class like that. Then coming, so from the moment she said science class, guys, I kid you not, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew it wasn't going to come school-wise. I was so certain about that it wasn't going to come school-wise. Science class was something I could do, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I think towards the end of our graduation, they had brought, or a teacher was teaching us about careers, courses, and the rest. And the two that came to my mind relating to science was either medicine or pharmacy. I was either going to do medicine or pharmacy. But upon explanation, we understood the years, what it entails and everything. So I was like, I cannot just do medicine because it takes so much years, so many years that I am not willing to sacrifice or I'm not willing to give. So I rather settle for pharmacy. Pharmacy also has a number of years, but once you're done compared to being a medical doctor. So I was just, okay, I'll settle for pharmacy. Not necessarily because I saw myself as a pharmacist in the future, but that was the only 2 courses I could really, or I connected to from the science class. Now we are back to the story I was giving. I don't even remember the course that they were using to gain admission for me in the school I actually wanted, because like I explained, I had no idea. So after a while, when my mom mentioned the Cyprus, I finally mourned my other school and I came to terms with, okay, Cyprus it is. And then after we started the processing and the rest, like I said, my elder brother was in Cyprus. Come to find out that the school fees for pharmacy was like almost 10,000 euros. Or let me say 10,000 euros. Just 200 euros to make it 10,000 euros. So we now had to go back to the school I wanted again. And it was like back and forth, back and forth. There was no decision. It was in between. From Cyprus, this back and forth, back and forth. So it now started pointing back to the school I wanted. But I needed to go to my secondary school to get my results. I got my results for the normal school. I got my results and I came back home. Then it was time for the results. The result for the WAEC, that was the exam we had written, was out. My mom and I were going out to different places, but we went out the same time. And coincidentally, we came back the same time. So we met on, we were like 3 minutes to my house, and we saw each other. And she was like, "Oh, I got the result." I was like, "Yes." She said we should open it. It was under a victory. And we opened the results. I passed everything, and she was like, immediately she saw the results, she was like, "Welcome to Cyprus." And I was like, Cyprus again? Like, because at that point I had taken my mind off Cyprus because the situation, the conversation was over. We're back to the other school. And then when she made mention of Cyprus, here we come, I think, not to welcome to Cyprus, here we come. I was like, Cyprus again? And she was like, yes, she just didn't tell me, but yes, it's going to be Cyprus. I was like, okay. Because I was even this day, I was just feeling down because of the concern back and forth. And I wasn't really comfortable or confident in what I had chosen because I just did not have it in me for science. It was something I could do, yes, but being able to do something doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it. That vibe, that was what I was on. So I was able to come to terms, everything. I agreed, okay, it was Cyprus. And to tell you how my mind wasn't on Cyprus, I never for once Googled what Cyprus looked like. Never for once did I Google what Cyprus looked like, what my university was, what it looked like. I never asked my elder brother what Cyprus was. I did not ask any question. I did not do any research. I did not investigate nothing. I just started preparing. We started preparation. And like I said, I graduated in July. So I had just August and roughly September to process the admission, get my visa, and fly to Cyprus. All these things were going on, preparation started, everything was going fine. And then I think 2 days to me coming to Cyprus, I didn't even tell anyone, funny enough. 2 days to me going to Cyprus, I told my friend I was going to come and see her. Her area where she stayed was close to where I stayed. So I was like, okay, I'll come see you because I'll be leaving. I don't even remember if I told her when I'll be leaving. So she said, okay. I went to see her, and my mom kept sending me message. A night before, she had told me that my elder brother told her Cyprus is extremely cold. I needed to get thick jackets. She told me we were going to get them the next day. And when I was planning on going out, she didn't mention anything. So I thought we weren't going to go that day. Maybe we were going to go the following day. I went to see my friend. After a while, it was evening time. My mom started sending me messages for me to come back home, saying we needed to go get the jacket. I was like, let's do it the following day because it was already after 4 p.m. She said, no, we needed to go today in case we're not able to get what I want, so we'll have an extra day to go shop. I said, okay. But in my mind, I'm like, where on earth does my mom want us to get jacket after 4 in the evening? I left my friend's house and I boarded a tricycle. It started drizzling by the time I had boarded the tricycle. And unknowingly to me, the tricycle, the roof was leaking, like a big hole. It was leaking and it was literally dripping on me. I moved to this side to find out the other side, and it was raining heavy, so it wasn't something that I could stop on the way and charter another one or look for another alternative. I was already on the way because in the area we live in Abuja, for those of you, if you've been to Abuja, you know how the roads are. And places like estate, you don't get to see all these things. You tend to see them at the junction. So we had left my friend's house at a distance. I boarded the tricycle only to find out that it was raining or it was leaking. So before I got to my destination, and that wasn't even my destination, I needed to stop at a particular gate, overhead bridge, and then walk across the bridge. If you're in Abuja, you understand what I'm talking about. I had to stop at the bridge, cross over the bridge, because you cannot cross the main road. You have to cross over the overhead bridge, get onto the other side, and then look for a bike to now take me to my house, because the bike only stops at the junction. So you take a bike and then it takes you to my house. It's trekkable, just that I never used to trek. I'm lazy like that. Anyways, I got to the bridge and I was already wet, literally so wet at that point. It was like I walked from where I was coming from to the bridge. I told myself I was just going to rest under the bridge. When the rain reduces a little bit, I'll cross over to get the bike and then go home. But It was raining so heavy, like I said, and there were lots of people by the bridge side that there wasn't any space. Where I was standing, it was still the same like me standing under the rain. And I thought about the whole situation that if I decide to stand here, the rain is going to beat me till it stops raining. How about I just walk home instead of staying here? Because there's no space, there's no shade for me, and I was already soaking wet. That was a very wrong decision, but I made that decision. And then I started walking. I was the only one because it was raining heavy. I crossed to the other side. Of course, there were no bikemen. And then I had to now walk down again to my house. By the time I got home, I was soaked. I was drenched in water. I was dripping. By the time I opened the door, my mom was like, they were surprised to see me home at that time because it was raining. And she asked me, why didn't you tell me to come pick you? And in my head, my area for you to come out, before she gets the place, my house to where I'm coming from is not far. But if you have to take a car, if you have to go by car, it's so long. So by the time she would have gotten to me, I would still be soaked. And it will almost take the same amount of time I used to walk from where I was back home. So I just didn't say anything because, oh well, I was already drenched and I just needed to change. I went in, I got changed. Guys, when it was like, I think after 9 p.m. or after 10 p.m., I started feeling feverish. I don't know, I just started feeling like I was not feeling okay. And I kept telling myself that I know rain does something like that, but please, this is not the time. And I thought maybe because cold had entered me, after the following morning I'll be okay. So I turned on the air conditioner, got warm, everything, stayed in my room. The following morning, guys, I could not leave the bed. I literally could not stand up. I could not do anything. When I woke up crying because I was in so much pain. And then I told my mom. My mom is a nurse or is a retired nurse. So we started medication. She told me it was fever. We started medication. I just kept getting sick and sick and sick. And I told you this was 3 days to me coming to Cyprus. So right now I have just 2 days left. I couldn't even go get the jackets. I think my mom had to go get the jackets. I was just getting sick and sick and sick, and I kept receiving injections. So I could literally do nothing. I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. I was just there. My mom was even the one who arranged my box coming to Cyprus for me. She arranged my box, and before then, my mom had talked me into going by road instead of going by flight. That was from Abuja to Lagos. And when I was coming, there was no Turkish airline from Abuja. It was only from Lagos. So you needed to go to Lagos. My mom convinced me that by going by road, I would save money. And I thought about it. I was like, makes sense. I will have enough money. Let me go by road. And by the time I now became so sick, it was either too late or I think we couldn't find a space for me on any flight. So I just had to go by road. And guys, I told you that I was in a lot of pain. I was in so much pain. Eventually the day came. I can't even, if you ask me, I can't really remember everything that happened because it was like an out of body experience. It was just like they were controlling me. My mom packed, she did everything. When I was even going, the morning I left, I still collected injection. I still collected drugs based on how bad the situation was. I got to the park, my uncles, my aunties, everyone said goodbye. I don't really remember saying goodbye like that because I was just in a lot of pain. We started the journey. Throughout the journey, I was sleeping. I was just sleeping and sleeping. We got to a place where you can buy food. It's a place I'm familiar with, and I really loved their fried rice. So I said, okay, since I really love this food, let me just try and go down to buy it. Maybe it will help me. I went to get this food. I tried eating 2 spoons. I just could not. I didn't have appetite, and I wasn't getting any taste from the food. I had to leave the food. The food stayed. So throughout the whole day, I didn't eat. I left Abuja in the morning. I arrived Lagos at 6 p.m. We arrived Lagos 6 p.m. But before I got to my destination, it was to 11 p.m. And I was so lucky because they all kept telling me to be careful because Lagos is rough, they can easily steal things without me knowing, blah 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 blah. I was so lucky that the moment I got to Lagos and I jumped from the bus, I was able to find a taxi. that carried me. I didn't even care how much the taxi was. I just needed to get home or to get somewhere, So I took the taxi. I went to meet my friend. I was going to fly to Cyprus with one of my friends, and she had been in Lagos. I was even supposed to stay somewhere else. I think a hotel or somewhere. I can't remember. But along the line, she had communicated with my mom, so I was able to stay with her. So immediately I got to the house. Like I said, it was after 10, which is very late in Nigeria. I took my bath. I still could not even eat the food. The food I bought had gone bad because it was fried rice. And then the food they offered me, I just could not eat anything. I slept till the following morning. I was still sick. In fact, it just kept getting worse. So we got to the airport and we met with our agent because we had an agent that was responsible for us, or my friend and I. And the moment we got there, they opened our boxes, they mixed everything of ours, everything was just anyhow. And I really could not say anything, or I really could not do anything because I just didn't have any energy in me. And this was a friend I had just made. We were both going to the same location. No problem, whatever the case may be, when we get to Cyprus, everyone carries their own thing. It wasn't a problem for me. So she kept asking me for something else, and then I needed to use the ATM to be able to do that, but no ATM was working at the airport. We were able to find a solution. She kept asking for a particular document that she never told me about. Mind you, I told you my brother was in Cyprus, so he already told me everything I needed and everything I should carry, and I did exactly that. And she kept asking for something that I didn't even know about. And the way she, guys, throughout the time in airport, from us going to this place to another, I kept squatting because I could not carry myself. I could not hold my body. I kept squatting. Anyone that saw me at that moment could tell that something is going on with this girl. And the agent was saying me, everything they say, I would do it, like just to avoid problems. And then when you go to that document, she started talking, and it's like she started shouting and the rest. And based on how I was feeling, I was so fed up. So fed up, because from what she was doing, she was not even doing what she was supposed to do, and she was cheating us on top of it. So many things. I was fed up, and she could tell I was not feeling okay. Maybe she might not know what the issue might be, but she knew for a fact that I was 100% not okay. And then the way she started shouting, I didn't know what came over me, guys. And then I reacted. The moment I reacted, even she as well calmed down after that. I don't know what came over me, honestly. That was one experience that till today, I don't know how I was able to do that. I just exploded, and I just told her my mind and everything. So after that, she left me. She started following me gently, gradually, and up until the time we entered the plane. In fact, she even said bye. By the time she said bye, when we had finished everything, we got to the airport super early because we're in Lagos because of traffic. We left the house super early, but we got into the plane maybe 10 minutes before our plane was going to leave, based on one thing or the other. And going to the counter, we found out that she cheated. So many things, and I was so angry. So by the time I had reacted to her, I was just over it. I just needed to go. So we did everything. We left. She was even saying, she was calling our name, saying bye bye. I didn't even turn to look at her. I was that fed up. Anyways, we got to the plane. I can't even remember how my experience was or what I felt. We got to the plane. From the moment we sat on that plane till the moment I got to Cyprus, guys, I cannot explain what happened. It felt like I wasn't going to make it to Cyprus, honestly speaking. With the way I was feeling in my body, I can confidently say I didn't know I was going to make it to Cyprus, honestly. I did not eat anything. I could not talk. I'll wake up, try to talk to my friends, sleep back, but she knew I wasn't feeling okay, so she also gave me grace. I was just there. And then after a while, an air hostess came to wake me up, saying I needed to eat something. So I told her I could not eat. She should just give me water. Because as of then, I had not even taken water. And that was Lagos to Turkey, and that's the longest part of the journey. So she woke me up. I told her to bring water. She said okay. So she went and got Coke and water as well for me, and she was like, okay. She asked me what I wanted. I told her to please help me get water. She said no, that I needed to take something other than water, something at least. She kept bugging me, so I was like okay. She then asked me what's my favorite drink. I said Coke. She said okay. She went, she got me water and Coke, and she brought it to me. for me to drink. She even came back after a while to check if I took the coke and the water as well. That's an experience I will never forget because she really looked out for me. And I was sleeping, so it's not like she was seeing me or anything. She kept looking out for me throughout that flight. I got to Turkey. I don't even remember the experience because I was just in so much pain. I will never forget because I don't think I've ever been that sick in my life till date. I was just in so much pain. That was why I said at some point it felt like I wasn't going to make it to Cyprus. Luckily, finally made it to Cyprus. We got to Cyprus. Immediately I landed, my brother was already outside waiting for me. So he got me, and like I said, I had not googled anything about Cyprus. I had not checked. I had no picture, like nothing about Cyprus. So when my brother picked me from the airport, and now it's even better. When I came from the airport to where you're going to, in fact, right from the airport, you'll be discouraged, or it's like, is this the Cyprus? But I don't know, for some weird reason, because I didn't have any expectation, I didn't have anything in mind, I was just okay. When I came to Cyprus, I saw everything. I was just like, oh, okay. It didn't bother me. I didn't feel some type of way. Like, I was just okay with the situation. I still don't know why, but I was just okay. I got to my dorm, which was near East University. I got to my dormitory. They had a guest dorm where you stay for 2 to 3 days before they appoint your dormitory for you. So I stayed there. I was still sick, and then when I came, Cyprus water was really salty, like extremely salty. So when I was taking my bath, and I did not know that in the dormitory, or I did not pay attention to the blue and the red. Let me not say I did not know. I wasn't paying attention because I did not expect that there would be hot water. Maybe, I don't know my thought process there. But I kept taking my bath with cold water, which wasn't helping me based on the way I was feeling. And then I didn't know that their water was salty, so I thought it was the sickness. You know how your mouth is somewhat funny when you're sick? I thought that was the case, but I was like, after so many days, my mouth should not taste this bad. It's been days. I never need to salt water. Anyways, I was able to finish, and when I got to the airport, because they had padlocked my box, by the time I got to the dormitory, I could not open it. I could not find the key. So many things, guys. I could not find the key. I was calling this, so many things. But eventually, I was able to do what I needed to do, and they assigned me to a dormitory. Luckily for me, when I came, if you're in Near East or you've been to Near East, Dorm 9 is now for guys, but initially it was for girls. Or I would say we were the first and only girls to stay in that dormitory, Dorm 9. And that was the first time that the dorm was in use. So eventually I was able to finish up my registration, get my dorm key and everything. So I moved to my other dormitory. And then in school, I don't know about now, then they will still give you a taxi that will help you take your things to where you've been assigned. So I went to the dormitory, and the moment I entered, my roommates were like, so you're so sister, we've been waiting for you, this and I'm like, okay, that's the worst thing I can ever hear, that they are waiting for them to see. For the purpose of this video, let's call my brother John. And they were like, oh, they've been waiting to see John's sister. So I'm John's sister. Oh my god, guys, I was so shy because it's like, what have you heard? What's your expectation of me? So many things. I was just like, And then it was just one that was around. She was telling me all these things, that the rest are coming. I'm like, the rest, So, it was just, that's the worst thing you can tell me, that, oh, we've been expecting you, especially if I don't know you. So it was just, I was so shy. So because of that, I could not arrange my things. Eventually, the rest of them came. We all did an introduction and the rest. So I was so shy that I could not open my box to start arranging. I eventually got to do that, but yeah. Then I think the following day, or that same day, my roommates were like, they are going to make food, jollof spaghetti. I'll never forget. Will I eat? So I was like, oh no, thank you. I'm very okay, because I just knew them. So I was like, no, I'm okay. And then one of them told me that in this room we do things together, blah 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 blah. And it touched me honestly, because I wasn't even contributing anything. Nothing of mine was there. I didn't give them any money, nothing. And they were like, no, we eat together, blah 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 blah. And I was really touched. So they dragged me, we went to the kitchen, we made the food, they served everyone, we went back to the room and we all had the lunch together. And that was how my dorm experience was. We're always like cooking, or even if we don't cook together, everyone is going to eat, that kind of vibe. So like I really, 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 really enjoyed my time in the dormitory, or I would say I appreciate, or I'm thankful for the people I met as my roommates. I didn't have any problem with them. We didn't have any problem. We never fought. It was just everything was done in love and unity. We always shared. So yeah, that was such an amazing experience for me. I wish on everybody. So now, I think the first week or few days after I had settled in, known my department and the rest, I was going to class this morning. One morning, I was going to class, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, or let me be honest with you guys. That morning when I was going to class, I just started talking to myself that this land, Cyprus, we do this. This land, Cyprus, will give me this. In Cyprus, I will do this. In Cyprus, I'll achieve this. I just kept speaking things into existence. I kept talking about Cyprus, the ground. I was just being prophetic. I was just, would I say manifesting? I don't want to use the word manifesting, because no, I was not manifesting. We have a weird interpretation of manifesting. So, for lack of better words, I would say I was manifesting, or I was speaking positivity, speaking life to Cyprus. Like, I don't know how to explain. Let me just say I was manifesting. I just kept telling myself with words, I will be this in Cyprus, I'll achieve this in Cyprus, Cyprus will do this, Cyprus will do that. I kept talking and talking and talking and talking. And if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't have that knowledge to know that when you get to a new place, you're supposed to do that, or it has a spiritual meaning, or you should do that. And like, I can't even explain. I don't even know what inspired me to do that. I don't know what I was thinking for me to do that, but I didn't have this knowledge, or I wasn't exposed enough to know that it's good to do something like that. I was just speaking out of my head, and why I will never forget is my head was down and I was just so lost in my head, just talking and talking. And then there was a pool, and I walked into the pool. I was so embarrassed, because if you're in near East, or you've been to near East, this is dormitory 9, and then we have the prep school before the pharmacy department, and then it was around the prep school. And this other side, that is where the bus station is. That's where all the buses lined up. Luckily for me, it was not the bus time, so there were just few people. And out of embarrassment, I couldn't really look to see if anyone had seen me, so I just kept going, and that really helped me. The reason, like, I am so thankful for myself, my younger self, or that version that decided to do that, because I wouldn't lie to you guys, I didn't do it with the knowledge of, knowing what I was doing. I just did it. And I will tell you guys that everything I had said that day, everything I had said, out of 100%, at least 70% have come to pass. Like, sometimes I know we all have our issues with Cyprus. I know we all have our experiences, our differences with Cyprus, but I am someone that tells myself that Cyprus owes me a lot. Like, my journey at Cyprus cannot end until Cyprus gives me everything that it owes me. And I'm not joking, guys. If you're new to any place, it doesn't even necessarily mean a different country. It could be a state, it could be an area, it could be a house, whatever it is. Learn to prophesy about yourself, or learn to prophesy about your journey on that land. Because I am not joking, guys. In fact, one of the things I said that day just came to pass this week. I will never say what I said that day. Maybe the day everything comes to pass, or which I know it will. But yeah, that was an experience I will never forget. And then when I came to Cyprus, I started going to school. I was the only black. In fact, one of the reasons why we were going back and forth on the schools was because pharmacy didn't have international departments. It was purely Turkish. Then I think upon finding out that I was coming, they decided to start international pharmacy. It was on myself that they started, near East Pharmacy started international pharmacy. So because there was a debate on my brother and the agent, one of them saying there was no international back and forth, but eventually I was the first person to start international pharmacy in near East. Upon going to class, from whom I already knew that I was the only person. I was the only black in the class. When I go to class, I can sit down on this chair. I'll be the only person seated on the chair. No matter how full the class is, and we're so much, we're a lot. No matter how full the class is, wherever I sat down, I was the only person seated on a very long bench. And then if the class is so full, in courses where you needed attendance, if I'm sitting by the end, there may be 2 or 3 people will sit at the extreme end, and it just kept going on. And even in class, they weren't speaking English, it was purely Turkish. They would talk and talk in Turkish, but I wasn't allowed to stay at home. I was mandated to come to school every day, sign attendance, sit in class, but no English. Not even a single word was in English. I would just sit down in class, I would talk. Maybe I would write notes. That was it, guys. Imagine studying a course like pharmacy with no English. Already, pharmacy is such a difficult course. Imagine I'm studying it without English, that you're just left to the slides, the notes from the class. You're left with no explanation whatsoever. That was such a funny experience, guys. I stayed like that for, I would say, maybe 2 months or more than that. It just kept going on. But I still had nice lecturers. There was this chemistry lecturer that every time when he takes a break in his teaching and maybe he wants the class to copy what's on the board, he comes to where talks to me that he knows I'm not understanding. If I have any question, I should meet him in his office. I had that opportunity to always meet lecturers in their office. Like, I got somewhat a special treatment in that aspect, that I will always be called to the office. And I think they were a bit lenient on me as well, saying that everyone understood the whole situation of things. So it kept going on. Then I had a Rwandan guy join me. He was my friend. We now became the 2 blacks in the class. Then gradually, they started speaking a little bit of English. But then, I had someone I could talk to. We understood each other. We were doing things together. Eventually, we became 3. So by the time we became 3, they now started doing the lecture in Turkish, and then lecture maybe 5 minutes in Turkish, 5 minutes in English. It was the 3rd guy. It was also a guy that came. So the 2nd guy, which is the 3rd person that came, that we became 3. So they now were open to the English. They started teaching half Turkish, half English. So yeah, we stayed like that. I think the whole of 100 level, it was just the 3 of us. I think down to 200 level. Then eventually we started having maybe few people joining us, as few blacks joining us. But yeah, that was my experience. It was thinking about it now is so unbelievable. I don't know how they expected me, or I don't know how they thought I was managing while they were teaching in Turkish, and I was just left to the notes. But I was still able to do so much with the little I have. So yeah, that was it. But for the longest time, I was alone, and it was just, oh my god. And I'm someone that things like that does not get to me. If I sit down here, if no one decides to sit on the chair, so be it. Leave the chair to me, I will sit down on the chair. If you even leave me, I will lie down. But because we're in a class, I cannot lie down. So things like that actually never got to me. The only thing that maybe somewhat got to me was the teaching, the fact that I needed to be in class. And by the time I grew up, I was not a fan of school. So I feel like if they had allowed me to be home and just study the slides, of which is the same thing with me being in school, I feel like I would have had a better experience. But I still needed to show up, and our classes was always 8:30. So I needed to wake up super early. And if you know me, I don't joke with sleep. So that was a whole lot for me. Anyways, I made it I was able to make it through. We became three, and then we started teaching in English, and things became easy. Things became much easy. Yeah. From Near East, I had to switch to that was Near East University. I had to change universities to Cyprus International University. And guys, why I had to take you guys back to fully understand the story. That thing I always used to tell you guys that having your dream is not enough. Having a vision, it really matters. While I was doing this pharmacy, I was not failing pharmacy. I would not say I was failing pharmacy. I was doing okay in the pharmacy because it was something I had to come to terms with myself that this is something that I didn't want to do, but I could do it if I wanted to. So I was like, okay, I will just do it because I had the option between pharmacy and dentistry. The school fees was maybe roughly €1,000 difference. But when I thought about dentistry, like teeth, what I don't know, I was not interested. But so the decision was between pharmacy and dentistry, and I didn't have any interest in dentistry, and they were both difficult. So I was like, if it's going to be difficult, at least let me go for something that I had in mind or something. So that was how I came about the pharmacy. I studied pharmacy for 4 years in Near East University, and then things happened, and I had to stop the pharmacy to switch universities, not just the course. So upon switching universities, I told my mom that, or I told myself that I cannot do pharmacy again. It's impossible for me to start pharmacy from the ground. I had gone 4 years in pharmacy, and pharmacy in the school I was 5 years. Imagine studying 4 years out of 5 years, and then unwillingly you are forced to like change. So when I changed, I just knew that I could not start pharmacy again from the beginning. Pharmacy is difficult. I tried my best. I was able to go from 100 level to 400 level. So I just could not imagine myself starting all over again. So that was when I started thinking, what course can I pick? What course can I pick? Because I'm telling you guys honestly, right from when I was growing up, I always knew that I wasn't going to use school in future. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wasn't going to use school. But don't get it wrong. I still stayed in school, I still studied in school, and I still passed all my exams. So yeah, when I say I don't like school, don't say you don't like school and you don't read. No, I did my time in school and I excelled in school regardless. So yeah, stay in school, guys. Anyways, I started thinking, what course could I study? What course? I already made it clear that I wasn't going to study pharmacy. And like I said, I always didn't see myself studying or being in the science department. So when that happened, I had to trace myself back to my vision that, okay, what is it you said you wanted? This. I checked everything, and I now had to come down to psychology. My brother was studying psychology. He studied psychology in Cyprus. So I think a suggestion came for the psychology, and then after so many back and forth, I was like, okay, let me do the psychology. I settled for the psychology. Yeah, I would say I settled for the psychology. Then I started schooling again, and then the moment I started going to lecture, I just from nowhere I just developed this so much love for psychology that I wish that was what I did right from the get-go. I love psychology so much that I don't even mind doing masters and PhD in psychology, because the brain is such an intriguing thing to study. Sometimes that, based on what I've learned in school, sometimes when people talk or people react in certain way, it just takes me back to school that this person is behaving like this because this. This person is going through this because, like, it's so nice. It's fascinating that maybe a particular behavior someone is exhibiting stems from a place having been taught about disorders, especially mental disorders, so much, and then coming to the real life to seeing what it actually is and being able to have a better understanding because of what you are studying. Like, guys, psychology is such an interesting course. And then along the line, I told myself that I remember that I had always wanted to study art, always, but for some reasons I had to do science. And it just made me understand life differently. That after so many years upon everything, I still found my way back to that art. It's like my spirit was not just okay, because that wasn't just what I wanted for my life, I would say. So it's just so funny, I even told my mom one time that see and see and see. Remember, I told you I always wanted art. I even changed my first school because I didn't want to study science. Ended up doing pharmacy. I even imagine how funny life is. Guys, I spent 4 years out of 5 years in pharmacy before I needed to change to now get into this psychology. So, with this thing I've said, side notes, always stay true to your passion, stay true, stick to your dreams, stick to your path. That is why they say everybody's journey is different. If this is what you want, if it's in line with your vision, fight for it. Make sure that that is what you do to avoid wastage of time and unnecessary back and forth and unnecessary time wastage. Like, I also learned from my experience that just fight for what you believe in. And yeah, years later, here we are. My journey to Cyprus and in Cyprus is a very interesting one. Very, very interesting one. Maybe one day we'll get to find out my story or my life in Cyprus. But for now, yeah, that's the story of how I came to Cyprus. And Cyprus is giving me what I demanded, and it will continue to give me what I demand. And it's never too late. You can always speak to the land you're in. I'm not joking, guys. Cyprus has a lot. It still has not a lot, because Cyprus has been good to me, but we still have a long way. I and Cyprus, we still have a long way, because there's so much Cyprus needs to release to me. There's so much Cyprus needs to give to me. So yeah, that has been my journey so far in North Cyprus. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching up until this moment. But before we go, let's get into our quote for the week. So our first quote for the week is: everything in life starts with your mindset first and your actions second. Your actions follow your thoughts, your beliefs and ideas. To make a shift, to free your energy, start with getting your mind right and then take action. And then our second or our last quote for the day or week is: forget being realistic. Success takes delusion. Act like it's going to happen. Believe it's already yours. You are the main character. You can make life the reality you want it to be. These are words I go by, or these are words I live by in this life so much. If you've watched up until this moment, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. I appreciate. And yeah, see you guys next week. Bye.